My name is Sherry Coutu, and I'm an entrepreneur who has started up a number of companies and sold them and floated them. And now I spend most of my time investing in other companies and helping entrepreneurs do things that need to be done, both on the for-profit side and on the not-for-profit side. Over the years, there have been many ideas that have occurred to me that haven't actually turned into companies. And I think we entrepreneurs, every single day, there's probably 500 things that you think should be improved, and you think, oh, you could do that better, and I wonder how we could put together a team to fix that. And as it turns out, you consider many things, and sometimes you think, well, I don't know enough people to help me solve that problem, or you dig into it a little bit more deeply and you find out, oh, well, there's already some really great people solving that problem, so it's going to get solved. I don't have to worry about it any longer. I think entrepreneurs are uneasy with the status quo and want to make the world a better place, and that's how we have gotten to where we are today. 40% of the economy comes from companies that didn't exist at all 20, 30 years ago. And if they, the only reason they exist is because entrepreneurs thought, oh, I'm unhappy with that and I want to make a better solution that's faster, better, cheaper. But some don't turn out to be that bad a problem. And some are being done by other people, so you don't really want to jump on a bandwagon that's always solved. It's always nice to solve really big, new, bad problems, which is good. On my entrepreneurial journey, when I was 21, I was doing a master's degree at the London School of Economics, and a fellow student who was doing a PhD told me that I was an entrepreneur. And I had never been exposed to an entrepreneur at all in my life before then. My father was an engineer, and my mother was a civil servant, and I'd never met one. And I thought, I don't even think I'd heard the word. And I sort of looked at this man, and I thought, and his name was Richard Crusoe, and I looked at him, well, what is an entrepreneur? And I thought, you must be what you're weird, whatever you are, you're weird. And he said, you clearly don't recognize that you are yet, but you will someday. And when you do recognize that, you come back and talk to me. So I started being curious about what these entrepreneurs were, and I actually met loads when I was at the university, and had an idea for my first company and went and talked to him about it. And he did not ask that many questions. He did look at the business plan a little bit, but he's like, okay, I'll back you. What is it? It's great. By the time I'd gone to talk to him, I'd mitigated probably every risk that you can ever possibly imagine. And it really was an idea that I thought was worth solving. And he backed me, and that was great. He joined my board, and he was through with the company through from the very beginning through to when we floated it, and then even after the flotation, when we sold it to a company that acquired the public company we had listed. And he was magical for the whole journey. But if he hadn't made that suggestion, I probably never would have considered it at all. He was an entrepreneur, so he, to a certain extent, takes one to know one. And he, during his time, had started up 70 companies, of which he had floated 20. So amazing mentor, but he spotted me, and part of what I try to do now is spot people who are entrepreneurs and encourage them as much as possible, which is one of the reasons I'm so keen about what Apps for Good is doing, and also Founders Forum. And also Founders for Schools. I can't help but pitch the three favorite charities that are encouraging entrepreneurship and people to consider it, because it's entrepreneurs using technology that I think will solve a lot of the problems that we have. Ideas are extremely valuable. If you're not annoyed with something, then you don't have an idea. But it's the acting on the idea that I think is really important. It's as I said, I'll probably have a dozen ideas a day, but you have to think about who you can help solve that problem or whatever that idea is, and you work through figuring out whether or not it's just a fleeting idea, or whether or not it really is a big problem that will, and how you can help change the tide for whoever the customer is. I think ideas are great, but it's only those that are proven really solve a problem for a customer and create enormous value that are the ones that are really worth acting on. I think you'll test lots of hypotheses. Is this a good idea that you can either change the world with, i.e. some of the not-for-profit ideas that are well worth acting on, or is this an idea that I could get investors behind where they'll make a load of money and their customers will be delighted? So the idea is what starts the ball rolling. And whether or not it's for profit or not for profit, on a not for profit, you think, is this idea strong enough where I can get a team and I can get backers to help me solve this problem? And if it's for profit, you need to think, well, is this idea strong enough, firstly, so that I can get a team around me, secondly, so that I can attract investors and convince them that they will make a significant amount of return for their investment. But at the end of the day, what you're trying to do is get customers and improve their lives. And if you're using technology, you can improve their lives 10-fold, 100-fold, or even 10,000-fold. And that's one of the reasons why I've had a lifelong fascination with technology companies, because you can really change the way a whole industry works, and the people who win are the customers. Technology is important for the not-for-profit sector because it can help you lower the costs substantially and change the models. If I think about what Apps for Good is doing, technology is important on that side, because there are many problems that can only be solved using technology. Because if you don't use the technology, the old way of doing it would be way too expensive to be able to solve the problem. So this suddenly makes things that have been problems for a long time actually solvable for the first time, because you can use technology to lower the cost of actually solving that problem. And that's why I think it's vital that everybody, particular people interested in not-for-profit, can understand and harness technology so that they can leverage the gifts that it's been giving to the for-profit world for a long time, but its applications are just starting in the not-for-profit world, and there's a lot to be done.